Hey, and welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Steve Farner, your host, and today we are back in the Bluegrass again. Today, it is a gorgeous May day here in 2025 here in Lexington. Today, we're going to be exploring one of the most sought after and desirable zip codes in all of Lexington and Fayette County, the 40502. We're going to spotlight a house I have coming soon in the Lansdowne area. We're just going to talk a little bit today about what makes the 40502 so special and what really kind of makes it one of the most sought after zip codes in all of Lexington. So everyone knows when they think about the 40502, they think of Chevy Chase, both the neighborhood and the shopping area, Ashland Park. Those are all classic parts of what makes living in the 40502, so recognizable. But there's some stuff like here we are today on Romney Road. You've got Wheeler Pharmacy, which if you haven't been over there and grabbed one of their milkshakes, you haven't lived yet. Suggins is just a classic Lexington mainstay. But part of the 40502 that is so special is we know it has mature trees and it's so walkable. But you can be tucked away in a quiet little neighborhood and then walk a few blocks, get a bite to eat, grab a drink with some friends and hang out, and just an incredible neighborhood vibe throughout. But there's a lot more than just here or Chevy Chase. The 02 is much bigger than that and has a lot more to offer than just this tight little neighborhood here. Now, I have walked from our office, which is on the corner of Euclid and High Street, over here to South Hanover, a little quieter. But in Lexington, the 40502 zip code is probably considered to be, it's certainly the most searched zip code in town. It has two neighborhoods, Chevy Chase and Ashland Park, which are two of the most searched and sought after neighborhoods in all of Lexington, with homes selling well above $300 a square foot, and lots of things to love about this area. In our office here in Chevy Chase, we have access to great shopping and in walkable distance, great restaurants, all right there at just at an arm's reach away. So it's understandable. But when people think about the 40502, this is about what they think of. They don't really know just how big and how incredible that zip code really is. Today, as I looked on May 6th, 2025, there are 39 single-family homes for sale in 40502. And it stretches from here to High Street, Tates Creek Road, over to Richmond Road, has Chevy Chase and Ashland Park, of course, across over into Kenwick and Idlehour, and then out to New Circle Road, where it runs into the 40505, the 417, 40509, and 40503. And there's so much more to 40502 than just Chevy Chase and Ashland Park. We're going to kind of jump around town today and show you a little bit about what the 02 has to offer. It's not just here in Chevy Chase and Ashland Park, but Lansdowne and Glendover and some of those areas farther out, Tates Creek Road, and there's a lot to love about this zip code. So let's dive in and we're going to kind of show you what's going on. And once again, welcome to Back in the Bluegrass with me, your host, Steve Farno. So like I said, today, May 6, 2025, there are about 39 houses for sale. I know there's a few coming up for sale that are coming soon, but it's a reflection of how tight our inventory really is. And just a few years ago, before COVID, if you looked at the 40502, you might find 80 or 90 houses for sale at any given moment because our inventory and homes on the market was much bigger in 2017, 2018. So this is a big change for us and for home buyers and home sellers to understand the market and the implications of that change in inventory. So here we are, you're heading out Richmond Road, Main Street. In the 40502, you've got South Hanover, you've got Ashland Park up here on the right. But this is kind of the traditional heart, but this little nook and cranny over here of Kenwick, which we've talked about before, and is just an awesome, little neighborhood with tons of real estate potential, great living near downtown, just a lot of really good stuff in Kenwick. There's lots of cool stuff with houses that are just truly unique and with a lot going for them. In the 100-200 blocks, even in the 300 block, there's some really special properties back here in Kenwick and heading over toward Idlehour. As you leave Chevy Chase, you head out past Cassidy and Morton, two of the schools in the 40502. You also have Julius Marks and Glendover, private schools like Christ the King, which is on just a couple blocks over from here off of Tates Creek Road. But we're going to be heading out Tates Creek Road here, and what you'll find is there's a little backup here as you get past Cooper, but the 40502 heads out and takes you straight out to the Arboretum and to some other pretty awesome spot on the outside, on the other side of 40502. So it's not just Chevy Chase and Ashland amusement park. There's also a lot of really awesome stuff as you head out farther on Tates Creek Road. So don't forget the Arboretum. We've talked about that before. It's an awesome gym in the heart of Lexington and nestles right up to the 40502. The high school in the 40502 is, of course, Henry Clay, the main high school in this area that everyone feeds into. You're not too far in certain parts of the O2 from Lafayette and Tates Creek, but Henry Clay is the one high school in there that is a public school. Great neighborhoods as you leave Chevy Chase that are pretty exclusive. We got the Enclave up here, homes that back up to the Arboretum and just provide some really great living solutions up here on the outside of town. In Lansdowne, you know, not too far from New Circle Road, but we're off Lansdowne in Malibu, Tates Creek. This area here is just fantastic. You have all kinds of great houses built in the 60s, some in the 70s. I used to live on Cahaba here. My parents moved here after I went to college, but just a really quiet, you know, houses with some size to them, good space in here. There are $1 million homes back in this neighborhood overlooking the Lansdowne Signature Club. But just a really beautiful little area in the 40502 tucked back in here that people forget about sometimes. And don't overlook this part of town. It is outstanding. So as you can see, there is so much in the 40502 that is just not just Chevy Chase and the downtown part of the O2. It is an absolutely lovely zip code. There's a reason why it is such a hot, in-demand part of town. And I think that if you have an opportunity to look in that area, it's a really amazing spot to live. And we're out here today walking in an area that is not quite Lansdowne, not quite Glendover, not quite Zandale, kind of in that Breckenwood connector between Zandale and Albany. It is just, you know, there are Eisenhower homes in here, amazing ranches on basements, have homes that have been renovated and are well over 3,000 square feet. So there's all kinds of variety in here, right? Walking distance to the Arboretum. So many cool things about this part of town. If you have any questions and want to know more, let me know. I'd love to help. I have 2 houses coming up to be listed in the O2 here in Lansdowne area. If you have questions about those, let me know. And one of the things that I think people forget about, the convenience factor of this part of the 40502 is amazing. I can cut through, never have to drive on Nicholasville Road if I don't want to. I can just cut through on Malibu, I can cut through on Lowry, happen to be close to the Trader Joe's that's out here, all kinds of stuff that makes living in this part of the O2 such a joy and convenient beyond belief. So cut throughs, not having to drive on Nicholasville if you don't want to, just zip through, makes this part of town really convenient because it's going to avoid that monster much better. Here we are in front of my house. It's going to be coming soon on May 16th. Just another great example of what living in the Lansdowne neighborhood is like. You've got larger lots, unique homes. A lot of them have been renovated and updated. As you can see, we're just surrounded by trees. It's just a wonderful spot to live in Lexington if you can find one. So this is going to be coming soon on May 16th. Another reason that living in the Lansdowne area, you know, this is kind of where 40502, 40503 meet. Just a great spot. So this is 3405 Malibu Circle. Will become active on May 16th, that Friday. Looking forward to letting you get inside and see it. Thanks again for joining us today as we explored another just awesome part of Lexington today in the 40502. And I hope you've come away with a better sense of what all is out there and available in this incredible part of Lexington, whether you're looking in Chevy Chase or something a little bit more maybe forgotten out in Lansdowne, Zandale, Glendover, some of those neighborhoods that are just outstanding and all have something unique to offer. If you have questions, if you'd like to learn more about my coming soon house on Malibu Circle, let me know. But until next time, I'm Steve Farno, and we will be back in the Bluegrass again next week.